or anything like that. But based on multiple conversations that I've had, it does seem like the most likely scenario is that Kelsey Plum would move on from the Aces.
A season will be how the Aces do without Kelsey Plum and how Kelsey Plum does without the Aces.
For Kelsey, I mean, I totally understand the fit. You mentioned like perimeter scoring for the Valkyries, and they'll absolutely need that. But I think,
did Aja Wilson really torch Kelsey Plum after her departure from the Aces? The headlines are wild, but I've got the actual quotes right here, and what she said might surprise you. The drama between these former teammates has everyone talking. I've broken down every word Aja said about Kelsey leaving, and trust me, it's not what the clickbait wants you to believe. It is what it is. It's a business, but there's way more to this story that nobody's talking about. Plus, I've got inside info on what's really happening with the Indiana Fever and Kelsey Mitchell.
Now, the Aces did get Jewel Lloyd in her place, another proven player in the league. So in a sense, that was a one-to-one swap.
somebody like Kelsey Plum, she's coming off a difficult personal year, and she's emphasized that she wants to take time for herself, which is why she said that she pulled out of Unrivaled. So
before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
With Plum, I said at the beginning, I thought it was a good move for her career and her profile. Because with the Aces, and this is no disrespecting.
So we're not necessarily in the position to, I mean, with respect to what she said, to ask her directly, and that would be the best indicator here.
Okay, let's talk about what Aja Wilson actually said about Kelsey Plum leaving the Las Vegas Aces. The internet is blowing up with headlines claiming Aja torched her former teammate. But is that really what happened? Let me break this down for you because the clickbait factory is working overtime on this one.
Like, I can pull and cite a few quotes that kind of imply that, you know, the same way that Satu said that she's working with the Dallas organization.
She was never going to be beyond Aja Wilson when it comes to being the face or standing out as the face.
That's been the implication, that the Aces are working to find a situation where, quote unquote, everybody's happy, which is exactly what Becky Hammond said to me.
When reporters asked Aja about Kelsey's departure, her exact words were, "I process it just like anyone else. It is what it is. It's a business. People want to work on their brand new journeys, new stories, and I love that for her." Does that sound like someone burning bridges? Aja literally said she loves that Plum is pursuing a new chapter. That's hardly the vicious takedown that some headlines want you to believe. Aja continued by saying she's glad that she's in a space that she's happy, healthy, and thriving. Again, these are not the words of someone who's bitter or angry. They're the measured, mature response of a professional athlete who understands that players change teams all the time. This isn't high school drama, it's the WNBA, where roster moves happen every season. Think about it.
There's so much conversation, at least from what I'm seeing, about Kelsey Plum is that during the season when the rest of the core Aces
measuring stick of the franchise, because Aja Wilson MVP and all that. And then there were other, really good players on that team.
These two women won championships together. They battled side by side through grueling playoff runs. Of course, Aja acknowledged the reality by saying, "At the end of the day, I can't really worry about that anymore. I got to worry about what's in this locker room." That's not shade. That's focus on what she can control. The media is playing this old trick where they take perfectly reasonable comments and twist them into something scandalous. Aja didn't sneak fire shots at Kelsey. She gave a thoughtful response that balanced respect for her former teammate with commitment to her current team. But that doesn't generate clicks, does it? What's particularly interesting is that Aja described her relationship with Kelsey as one where they have honest conversations and can connect on multiple levels. She even called Plum "my homegirl," while explaining they talk more openly now than ever before. That doesn't sound like a fractured relationship. It sounds like two professionals who respect each other.
And Kelsey Plum was sort of, as much as she was an all-star, was more of a high-level role player on that.
Is the other, they're the core four: Asia, Chelsea, Jackie Young, and Kelsey Plum. So when her other three, counterparts.
The real story here isn't some manufactured beef between former teammates. It's about how the business side of basketball affects personal relationships. Aja's comments reveal the delicate balance players maintain between supporting former teammates and focusing on current team goals. She's essentially saying, "I wish her well, but I've got a job to do here." That's professionalism, not drama. According to sources, there might be more to Kelsey's departure than meets the eye. Apparently, she wanted to take time for herself and even dropped out of Unrivaled. There's speculation that Coach Becky Hammon knew about Plum's plans a month before things became public. Plum also has other business interests, including a cigar company, which could have factored into her decision to leave the championship-winning Aces.
That will be coming to the league this year, the Golden State Valkyries, and a part of me just kind of feels like that might be a fresh start for Kelsey Plum.
Like Kelsey Plum and the Sparks traded star-level asset, in that draft pick to get Kelsey Plum.
If she does decide that she wants to move on from the Aces, to me, it gives them an opportunity to have a great perimeter score.
You know what's crazy? If you or I left a job for a new opportunity and our former colleague said, "It's business, I wish them well, but I'm focused on our team now," nobody would bat an eye. That would be considered a normal, healthy response. But because this is the WNBA and these are high-profile athletes, suddenly it's torching someone. The question we should really be asking isn't whether Aja is mad at Kelsey. Clearly their relationship remains respectful. The more interesting question is why Kelsey Plum would want to leave a championship team in the first place. What opportunities or challenges was she seeking that she couldn't find with the Aces? That's the story worth exploring. Let's be real. When a story seems too dramatic to be true, it probably is. The headlines suggesting Aja Wilson torched Kelsey Plum are classic clickbait, taking normal comments and amping them up for drama. Aja's actual words show a seasoned professional who understands both the personal and business sides of basketball. She expressed genuine support for Plum's new journey while maintaining focus on her current team's goals.
For which we know that Kelsey Plum is, but it also will add a little bit of familiarity for her because the new head coach was the former assistant coach.
And I do think it's going to be good for Plum's career now, depending on how she backs it up. I mean, she has to play at a very high level.
If there's tension between these former teammates, it certainly isn't evident in Aja's measured, mature response. She didn't throw shade or make passive-aggressive comments. Instead, she acknowledged the reality of professional sports. Players move teams, and you have to adjust and move forward. That's not torching someone. That's being a professional. And there you have it.
And I think that that could also be something that plays well where you're getting a new environment and you're getting a new experience, but you're also still working with someone who knows you and knows you well.
Recognizable figures in the league, but if she's able to back that up with her game in the LA market as the face of the team, her status elevates.
The real story isn't some dramatic feud, but how headlines twist words for clicks when these former teammates clearly respect each other. What we should really be watching is what happens next for both stars. The 2025 season is going to look completely different for the Aces, and Aja faces the challenge of leading what will essentially be a rebuilt team to another championship. Meanwhile, Kelsey Plum is headed for a major change and a fresh start somewhere new. Will she find the spotlight she's been seeking? Will Aja maintain her dominance without her championship-winning teammate? That's the story worth following.